Send me your work schedule because when I try giving you a buzz, I have no clue if you're working or not working.
I'll tell you one thing. You know what I think it is. I think that because the time difference, I think that you just have a you're not thinking about time before. Because every time you've called me, there hasn't been one time you've called me when I've been home. Not one.
That's not true. I talk to you all the time.
But you know what I mean. I'm saying when you're calling me, it's always I work every day, 8 until 5, every day.
What time do you leave the house in the morning?
7:05
And then you get home at
at the
6,
latest. 7:15 I leave the house at the latest.
and you get home at 6.
5:45 if there's not a lot of traffic.
It's a long day, man.
Yeah.
You probably like that peace and quiet in your car though now. When you're going to work and getting home, probably nice to just kind of
Well, for like 3 months, I was doing 6 to 5, and then
smell you
we
later, man.
switched back. But yeah, man,
Be
life is.
telling your boss to smell you later.
I don't know what it is, dude. I think just the regularness of life is just fucking killing me.
What do you mean?
Just it's
You need some
boring.
excitement?
It's
You
just
having a midlife
boring,
crisis?
dude. It's just boring. Feel like a fucking robot, dude. Just something in
It
my.
sucks when you realize that you're just like living for Friday night and Saturday.
Yeah, it's
Even
ass.
Sundays aren't fun.
I mean,
Even Sundays aren't fun.
I already knew that I was. It's just that now that you're well into adulthood and you've done it for years on end now, and you realize there's no end coming, you're like, fuck me.
Especially when you don't take enough time off and you're like, wait, there's
Yeah,
no summer break. There's a day
yeah,
off here for a holiday unless I'm taking
nothing.
time off and there's someone was just in the doorway. That was scary.
But yeah,
That
it's
was
just
spooky.
and it's not even like I'm gassed out, dude. It's the regularness of fucking. I just something just I can't do it. It's just like, oh my god.
It's I think right now is the hardest, maybe not the hardest point, but the hardest point up until now because when you're right coming out of school, you want to make money so bad,
Yeah, you're fine
and
with working and shit.
right, you're fine with working because you're like, oh, the paychecks are so nice. Like I've never had money before,
Yeah.
and uh, and then once like you're
Once
on your
that
way to
goes
work and
away,
you've got all the bills and you've got all the bills and you're like, wow, man, I made the same amount as last year, or I'm a year older and I'm barely making any more money,
yeah, I did my
and
fucking taxes. I ended up owing $1,600. That's not a joke. I'm
mm,
like, and I'm looking at like the difference. I'm like after I pay that, I'm like I didn't make that much more. I'm like, what the fuck's going
mm.
on? I'm like, Jesus Christ.
You don't have state tax in Washington, right?
No, no.
Yeah, but yeah, I think now is a rough time because now are you 5 years in? You've been
Yeah.
working.
Well,
Well,
I've been working. What?
I mean,
It's been like
you've
seven,
been
it's
looking work. You've
six.
been working full time longer than I
Yeah, it's
have.
been like 6 or 7 years. But like, after it settles in that you're gonna be in this for the long haul, you're like, fuck me.
Every Monday morning
Yeah.
complaining and going,
Yeah.
every Tuesday, it's just there's no summer break. I think that's what gets me. It's just
Yeah,
there's
because
no
dude, like I know
say
like people,
end of the
like
line.
a lot of my friends have like brothers and sisters. I'm like, oh, your brothers? I'm like, he's like, oh yeah, he's on spring break. I'm like, oh, I remember that. My
Those
God,
guys.
I'm like, you know how good you have it, man.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, dude. It's fucked up. How about them
Yeah.
Lakers, huh? Disappointing.
Dude, just so upsetting because I feel like it came down to the role players, and I was telling our friends before the series it was going to come down to the role players. I was like, I knew that AD and LeBron were going to play right up to Joker and Murray, and that's just almost like a wash between those four players. I was like, it's going to come down with can D'Angelo Russell have a 7-3 game,
The
which he
dude's
had one, but it
trash,
was
bro.
the
In
one game.
playoffs, he's
The
fucking
one game they
ass.
collapsed. D'Angelo Russell, can he do that? Can Reeves do that? Can Rui do that? Those three hosses that are other starters in the lineup, can they outplay Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and KCP? And I feel like KCP didn't do much, but Aaron Gordon is Draymond Green on steroids right now.
Yeah, he's
And
good.
so LeBron has a hard time staying with him because he's just an athletic freak. And it should be AD guarding him, and then they should have a legit center guarding Joker. I don't know why they don't do that anymore. Dwight Howard. when the Lakers won the championship was so huge in that role. Guard and Joker and AD can kind of play free safety, play on Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, the thing was, okay,
But
first
this
of all, they
series
had the
came
lead
down one
many
last time.
times. Many times.
Yeah. Oh, they led for like 70% of the games
It's
and then just
insane.
collapsed every fourth
Yeah,
quarter.
yeah.
And I think that's what frustrates me is Denver might go on and win the championship again back to back, and they felt so beatable for a
I
for a
agree.
Lakers team that's very average outside of LeBron and AD. It's like this Laker team is not that great, and they should have beaten Denver.
I
They did.
agree.
They just should have if everyone would have played up to snuff. But it's just I don't know why these guys that play on LeBron's teams have such a heart. Remember Rodney Hood the year on the Cavs from Duke, the lefty who
Yeah, I remember
I think
him.
went to the Blazers. He was so good in the regular season and legitimately could not do
Just
anything
shits the
in the
sheets when the
playoffs.
playoffs come around. Yeah.
And it hasn't always been like that for LeBron. LeBron's title runs, his Mario Chalmers and Shane
Mario
Battier had
Chalmers
some dude. Shane Battier
and Battier.
beat the Spurs with his 5 threes in Game 7. I mean, that guy was an animal. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's the younger generation that just there's more pressure now with LeBron than there has been in the
I think
past.
maybe
I
that's it.
just I cannot figure it out because just like some of the crap Rui would do, I'm just legitimately he's such a bad defender. He's a big athletic freak. He should be a star. He's built like Kawhi Leonard. He should be a star. And can't do anything defensively. And he just, you know, offensively, if he goes cold, he's useless. Get him off the floor
Yeah.
immediately.
Oh,
Um,
ow, fuck.
Reeves did fine. I mean, he had a couple games here. He didn't start out the series well, and that probably cost him the first couple games. But just the Knicks are up by 6 now. Dang.
Well, the thing I preferred them playing the Nuggets early, just because
Oh, so did I.
AD's fresh still. LeBron has time to be fresh. No less time for injury instead of playing them farther down the playoff line. When I
Yeah.
heard they were playing the Nuggets, I was like, actually, I prefer it this way. So they're all still fresh. No room for injury from AD, whose body's made of fucking glass, and we don't have to. There's not going to be any
Did you see his
problems
bump?
later
He
on.
gets a little
Yeah.
bump,
Well.
goes down like he got shot with a sniper.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything
Dude,
like
the
that.
guy could get hit with a pellet gun. He'd be in the ER for 3 days. It's just like I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
So there goes that. I mean, honestly, for a
Well,
brief minute, I actually thought I'm like, maybe they pull off a reverse sweep, and which is it's shocking to me that there hasn't been one in NBA history.
I know. Well, we got close last year.
Yeah, I know,
Remember
but like I
Boston
remember hearing that,
came
I'm like,
back
I'm
on the
like,
Heat.
I'm like, I know that's a really hard thing to do, but ever? I didn't know it was ever. I
We've seen
thought,
it in baseball.
yeah,
We've seen
yeah.
it in baseball.
And in my mind, I thought there had been a couple. So I was like, maybe I was thinking of a different sport. Maybe that's what I was thinking. But like, I was like, really? There's never been one? That's actually crazy. Yeah,
I
I
couldn't believe that there hadn't been one in the finals from 3-1
yeah,
until LeBron on Golden State. I
yeah.
couldn't believe like no team like
No,
with
no, I mean,
injuries, like no team
in
was
three
injured guys
one
coming back.
to get 2 games
3-1,
and
that's
tie, like all that
right.
momentum will easily take you to the last game. All that momentum. I mean,
Yeah,
it was shocking that that's never happened in history. Like
right.
the way, especially the way sports work. So many crazy things happen in sports
Yeah,
with
a guy can
with
get injured,
yeah with
and all of a sudden the
with
series
especially
flips.
with momentum. Like once you get on a comeback, reverse sweeps in other sports happen all the time. It's just like
Right.
it's crazy.
Yeah, I will say I totally agree on playing the Nuggets early because without this stupid play-in, which is the dumbest thing on earth in my opinion, this play-in tournament. It's like, okay, if you end up the ninth seed, you don't make the playoffs. That's the whole point. This whole
Yeah.
it comes down to one game for the eighth seed. I think that's so stupid. And so the Lakers should have been the eighth seed outright and playing OKC first round. And
Yeah.
Lakers probably win that. They
What were they
probably beat the
7? What were they
OKC.
7?
Yeah, they were 7 and
7.
Denver was 2. They probably would have beaten the Thunder,
I think they would have
honestly.
beat the Thunder.
Like
Yeah.
a young Thunder team, AD probably just demolishes their
Yeah, I
front
agree.
court.
I agree.
It's just so it's like it's unfortunate because Lakers probably end up going to the Western Conference Finals or something, again, like last year. But I agree. I'm like, okay, they still got to face Denver eventually. So may as well face them totally healthy at the beginning of the postseason rather than the Western Conference Finals like last year. But excuse me. Because I was like, all right, if you don't lose Denver, fine. I don't have to pay attention the rest of the playoffs, except for games like this that I'm watching. But it's like,
I mean, the thing
get it
also, I
over
think
with. If
also
you can't beat
why
them, you can't beat them. Get it
why
over
I
with.
was so, especially because I've watched the Lakers toward the end of LeBron's tenure have so many series and games in which I'm pulling for him because he's at the end here. He's not
Right.
got much left in the tank. And then seeing these games where they're leading and when they have, I'm like, okay, you fucking have the game. There's no way you're choking this many years, this many times, and it's just exhausting to see. Especially it's frustrating at the end of his illustrious career to see this shit happen. And because honestly, after this, how much does he really got left? I honestly don't know.
Right.
Maybe one. Honestly, I thought he might be so frustrated because after that interview, remember he's like, "It's just basketball. It's just basketball." At
That was
that,
kind of fake news, though. He was talking about the playoffs and
yeah, I
guys
just
not coming up to pressure. He was talking about like kind of his teammates. He was kind of talking about D'Angelo Russell and like, oh, guys added pressure in the playoffs, and LeBron was like, it's just basketball, and it totally got taken out of
yeah, I guess
context,
it
and
did.
people
I
acting
guess
like
it did.
he was basically saying the opposite. It's like, okay, players don't need to
I just feel
overthink
like
it. Like, oh, there's added pressure with the playoffs. It's just basketball. Like that
I
doesn't mean
just I
shit.
just feel like he doesn't have much more. I mean, as much as whatever the fuck his genetic freak at this age doing what he has been doing is unheard of. I don't think we've ever seen anything like it. But the thing I know that he has said it's been a plan that he's waiting for. He wants to play with Bronny this, Bronny that.
I don't think he wants to anymore.
I don't know if he even can pull that off. And by the way, speaking of Bronny, I mean, at USC, what did he really do? I mean,
No, nothing. That's
nothing.
what
But
I'm saying.
here's the thing that I think.
Nothing.
I was listening to this show these guys were doing. They were talking about how Bronny in pros would be better than when he's playing college. And
I don't really understand that.
I don't understand it completely, but I guess when they broke it down, I could see how he could do a little better. I just don't see him really going down there and just throwing a hammer down on some of these guys, especially some of the young guys that are freaks. I don't see it happening. I
I don't
mean,
either.
if anything, LeBron wants to play with him so bad, they draft him too early and he gets shit on.
Right.
That's what I think. But
Yeah. And I think he's going to be in the G League next year, to be honest, is what I think is going to happen.
and I mean, of
Um,
course, Bronny, a genetic freak like his fucking dad, and I'm sure he will be a great player. But I think that
he's
writing,
not a genetic freak. He's normal sized. He
I
doesn't.
think he's gonna, I think he's gonna, I think he's gonna be. Not as big as LeBron, but I'm saying it's in his blood to be an absolute fucking athlete machine. I mean, I don't,
We'll see.
I just see him as. I don't think he's anywhere close to his dad, to be honest. But
It could just be going back to LeBron. I think it would just be so nice if he ended his career with 5 championships.
yeah, I
I
agree.
think it would just be so nice if he was able, even if he's not the front. It feels like LeBron just will never be able to step into a backseat. Like AD just hasn't grabbed the reins.
He has to be in the driver's
He's
seat and score 35 points
well,
a
yeah,
game. It's
he has to be front and center, ball dominant, and there's just no one else can take the reins from him. And he can never just play kind of off ball. Kyrie would do it certain games, and then Kyrie left, so it's like, okay, well, I wish so bad him and LeBron could play together again, because I feel like he's probably the only player in the NBA that would allow LeBron to do that,
yeah.
because he's got the experience doing it before in short periods. And Kyrie is so damn good. I don't know if you caught
He's unbelievable.
any
He's
of his game on
unbelievable.
Sunday. It is truly insane. And that stuff he was doing in Cleveland, I think he's just, now that he's older, he's somehow like he's just more efficient now. But it's truly amazing watching him play basketball. It makes me happy. It honestly makes me like I feel like I like the sport watching him just because watching him.
Dude, his handles are probably the best handles I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. Um but it would just be so nice if LeBron can get one last like a Tom Brady,
One last
getting the
hurrah,
six
dude. Just give
in
him
New
one.
England.
Especially
Just like a last dance.
all the
Just like a last
bullshit,
dance.
all the times he should have had it, or he should have had a series, or he should have had a playoff game. I mean, in my mind, I'm not kidding you. I can't think of another player, and I'm not saying he's perfect, but I can't see a time an athlete who has been gypped over a game or a series as much as fucking
Right.
LeBron has. I just,
Well,
I haven't.
it's what sucks is the Heat were great for like 1 year, and then some guy Dwayne Wade started having the knee problems, and so that team kind of like it reached its peak and then like quickly started to fall off,
Yeah.
and then they got destroyed by the Spurs, and LeBron goes back to Cleveland. The thing that makes me sick is when the Cavs reached that point, when they beat the Warriors, they were so young and LeBron was still so fresh. It felt like LeBron was going to go on a three-peat
Yeah.
without Kevin Durant freaking going to that team. I truly feel like LeBron and Kyrie are three-peating. 16, 17, 18, and then who knows, maybe one more a couple years later or something. And it feels like LeBron probably never goes to LA. Just that LeBron move, I mean that Kevin Durant move, which was so people that compare it to the decision is so baffling to me because I'm like that they are not. The Warriors won 73 games and were a LeBron James block off the backboard,
That was so
running
fucking
the whole
crazy.
court, and a Kyrie shot from winning back-to-back titles and having the greatest season in NBA history. And Kevin Durant was a top 3 player in the league who just almost beat the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, and he joined them. It's just that's I mean, it's like the Patriots barely losing, and Patriots losing to the Giants in that year. The Patriots went 18-0 and lost in the Super Bowl to the Giants, and then like I don't know, pick your poison. Peyton Manning joining them, or something. It's like
Yeah, I agree.
it's just it's so crazy to me that happened. And again, football is not even a good comparison because football there's so many players that you need. Like basketball, when there's only 5 of you on the court,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
what one player like that joining makes all the difference. And it just
And football might not even make a difference at all.
right.
Yeah. So it's.
It's like I never felt like the Heat got robbed because I'm like, all right, they got old. They had a nice little couple titles, and then the Spurs just had a freak finals run.
I mean,
Couldn't
I
win.
loved watching Miami though in their heyday, dude.
Yeah,
I
they were
mean,
good,
Mike Miller
but I
coming
feel
off
like
the
they
bench.
just Chris Bosh.
I
Chris
loved
Bosh
watching him.
fell off fast.
Yeah, he was not the
Chris Bosh fell
same.
off fast, and Dwayne Wade just started to get old. And I think LeBron recognized that, and LeBron was like, I got to get younger.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but I think that Cleveland team is what I feel like got robbed because I think they would have gone on a Warriors type run and won 2, 3, 4 championships, which just makes me sick to my stomach because
Yeah,
I'm
I
like
feel
the
like
fact that they only have
there
one.
was more of the tank there that they could have done. I feel like, but that team untapped potential at that point.
Yeah, I guarantee you Kyrie regrets that decision. I could be wrong, but I just guarantee he
I
regrets.
can't say I'm not regretting it because it probably would have led to historical shit.
Yeah, because all they had to do was wait out that Kevin Durant era, and then I mean, if LeBron and Kyrie were still on Cleveland, they're probably still right in the mix of winning finals. Um, that team was
I
just
mean,
good. Kevin Love played a good role.
now thinking next year because LeBron's out of it, I just don't know how many times he really wants to do all this shit again. I mean, in my
The whole
mind,
season.
and yeah, in my mind, I'm not kidding. When I watch the end of it, I'm like, dude, for some reason, I feel like he might be done.
Well, what's crazy is I think he's got another year or two. But what's crazy to me is the NBA season is so long
I know. That's why I'm
and
saying I
such a
don't think he
grueling
like.
schedule.
I know that he said he's got a little
You
like
travel.
maybe a year or two or whatever, but I'm saying, and I know there's also been rumor people have heard from close friends and so that he said he got another year or two. But after this, honestly, because I was thinking that how this series turned out, and then this turns out like this, that I'm like, dude, maybe after this is over, he goes home and sits down and thinks, and he's just like, you know, I don't want to do all this fucking again.
Right.
Like, now I'm just chasing the first high that I'm not gonna get. Like I'm just chasing it for no fucking
Right.
reason. I'm investing all this fucking time, and then the off season, the training, the practices, and then not to mention the long ass fucking season,
The
and
plane rides.
hoping to
The plane
God you don't
rides.
get a season ending injury because you're older
Right.
now. I mean, there's just
Right.
so many cons that you have to address there, and I did not see it far fetched out in this off season for him to sit down and be like, dude, I think I'm done.
He could. I think it depends on. I don't think he wants to leave. So for a while, I was like, it'd be awesome if KD went back to OKC now that they're good and kind of played that, passing of the torch role. KD on OKC. LeBron goes back to Cleveland because they're decent. They're in the playoffs, as a sort of a similar thing, and they kind of have one last dance each with their team. But I truly don't think LeBron wants to leave LA
I don't
at
think
all.
so. I don't think so.
I think he likes it. He's got a gorgeous house. I'd never want to leave if I had his house.
Yeah.
The thought of him going back to Cleveland, I think is just like out of the question at this
Oh, out
point.
of the
It's like,
question. Yeah.
he's got kids in school, obviously the whole Bronny thing. His younger son's in high school. I think he's got a young daughter in school. I think he's just like, all right, LA's home at this point.
Yeah. This is where he
So I'm
finishes.
either
It's just a
retiring or I'm
matter of him
staying with the
wearing.
Lakers. Retiring or staying with the Lakers.
I mean, and the fact
And
that
if
he's
he
somehow
stays,
avoided
I think he
injury.
wants to see. I think he wants to see what kind of roster the Lakers put together and who they hire as a coach.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the Lakers go get JJ Redick. I think it'd be hilarious. Now him and LeBron have this podcast to just buck the system and get JJ Redick and Phil Handy, who's already their assistant coach, and maybe Rondo. Rondo's acting like he wants to coach. He loves LeBron, and just you got to figure out the roster because you got to make some changes. Last year, everyone was going off of
They need depth, dude. They need depth.
You put together at this All-Star team. You put together at the All-Star break, and they made the Western Conference Finals. Now they just need an offseason together, and they did they underachieved.
Satisfactory
So-
season at best.
I'd still like D'Lo. I'd still like him to bring back D'Lo. I know that's not very popular.
The
opinion.
dude just keeps
But I
shitting the
just-
sheets, dude. It's just like,
It's frustrating. Oh man, this just got turned into a 1-point game here.
and him, like many fucking players, they're just, they do these great. Oh, did you see D'Lo last night? Does these great things in the regular season, and then this playoffs come, you don't see a speck of it. It's just it's a story as
Yeah.
old. It's a story as old as time with certain athletes. Some athletes just do not, when it comes to the big games and the pressure's on, and they just don't execute. It happens with a lot of people.
I hated his response after they lost to Denver.
I didn't see it.
And he had a bad series. They go, "How would you grade your season?" And he goes, "Hell of a season for D'Lo." That's what he said. And it's like, dude, I get you had a good regular season, but how do you say that after a playoff loss? You just
And him literally shitting the
feel like
sheets.
you have no, yeah.
It's like,
You feel
I mean, there's players like D'Lo right there, and then there's players like Jimmy Butler who just come alive in the playoffs.
yeah.
Who's
I'm not a big Jimmy fan though. After he hasn't played now in these playoffs, he's talking all this
Yeah,
crap to Boston,
yeah,
and they're
but
just wiping
in-
him off the floor.
historically, I mean, playoff Jimmy. You have players like that who have these huge stretches of every time they're in the playoffs, they're fucking nails, and he's made a name for it. And then you have players that do great when they're playing 70 games or whatever, and then you play the playoffs in the big games and the pressure, they buckle. Whoever the fuck knows what happens, or maybe they get hesitant and they're not taking. Once they start missing, they stop shooting because they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna keep missing," which is not what you do. You should keep shooting, have the confidence to shoot. It's just, you know.
Yeah, I agree. Missed the free throw.
Oh, I'm missing the game. It's on downstairs. I can hear it.
Put it on your computer.
I don't think there's ESPN Plus on this thing.
Do you not have YouTube TV?
No, I stopped paying for that a long time ago. I wasn't really using it much. Because I was just downstairs because Jack, his dad works for Charter, so we have like all the cable, like we watch the games downstairs, so I stopped paying for it.
Doesn't Charter offer a streaming option though now?
Yeah, like with certain like apps and shit, you can watch fucking live games and shit on like HBO Max right now. The game's on. You can go watch it if you have the thing connected to it.
It might have been goaltending.
I mean, how much time's left?
Like 40 seconds.
Oh fuck! Hold on.
It might have been.
Have you watched the trailer for Joker 2?
I can't decide if it's going to be good or not.
I-
I mean,
okay.
it looks interesting.
But the thing is like, especially with a movie like something about the Joker, who is one of the most famous, most beloved villains, and thanks to Heath Ledger and everything like that, I'm saying everyone's going to watch the trailer and think it's going to be sick. Everybody.
Right.
Everybody. So you don't really know. And also, I liked the first one. I really did like it. I thought it was well done.
I thought it was okay. I thought
But
it was okay.
honestly, in terms of, I see the angle and how they were trying to unload the plot, and I just, in my eyes, it was an okay movie. It was an okay movie. I thought it was the acting was great, very well done. But in terms of how much I like Batman, The Dark Knight, etc., etc., in terms of connecting it with that, it didn't do it for me exactly.
Yeah,
But
right. I'll tell you what, a movie like that makes me wish is it like I would have given anything for Heath Ledger to be in that.
I know.
As Joker,
Could you
and
imagine
have it be his story.
Joaquin
Yeah,
Phoenix? It's Heath Ledger there doing that whole. Oh my
right.
fucking god!
With his story, like prequel to Dark Knight, and just
That would have been the
I mean, it
movie.
would
That
have
would have
set
been the movie of the
the world on
decade. Would have been the
fire.
movie of the decade
Yes.
easily.
Um, and I felt similarly like watching the Batman with Rob Pattinson. I thought it was pretty good, but it
Oh,
doesn't have
okay.
rewatch value. It
No,
doesn't have rewatch value, and
no.
that's the ultimate.
That's how I
I
weigh a
watched Batman
movie.
Begins a million
That's
times.
how I weigh a movie
and
is
never got sick
rewatch
of
the
it.
rewatch value.
Right, and I cannot rewatch. Same with No Way Home, Spider-Man. I can't rewatch that for some. It's just not a very good plot. Not a
No,
great movie.
it doesn't stick for me.
But Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, you betcha.
I've watched all the Spider-Mans with Tobey Maguire over again. I've rewatched all of them tons of times.
Yeah, I rewatched it last week.
I mean, it's just
and but so the Batman, I was like, I wish I wanted to see Ben Affleck get his solo movie. I wanted to see like not Rob Pattinson. I wanted to see Ben Affleck in that.
I mean, and the sad thing is, and maybe it's just me, and maybe it's one of those things that like once you start a franchise with somebody, you're so used to them, anyone else just seems lower, and maybe that's like a weird thing in your head. Like when I think of Pirates of the Caribbean, I think of Jack Sparrow and I think of only Johnny Depp and Johnny Depp alone. The same way I think about Christian Bale and Batman. I just always push for a Christian Bale comeback, and I'm pretty sure he has said he's probably not coming back to never do it. So
right. Did you hear Jonathan Nolan, Christopher Nolan's brother, who's helped him write everything?
Yeah,
said that he would die to get back into the Batman world.
Well, that'd be sick.
The writer.
That'd be dope.
So if they could talk Christian Bale,
dude, if Christian Bale made a comeback, that'd be crazy.
Dude, because that's what the superhero genre needs. Is that?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Return to, like the Marvels aren't doing it anymore.
No,
and
no, they're terrible.
And nobody wants to see Iron Man come back from the dead. No one wants to see Captain America come back, or come back.
That's why they did the multiverse thing. Now anything's possible. We could do anything.
Right.
That's why they did that. It's just. And it doesn't have the shock factor. It doesn't have the shock factor.
They wouldn't have to do that. They wouldn't have to do that with Batman and Christian Bale.
No,
they wouldn't have to do that. They could just say, you know what, we're doing a sequel.
They could pick up the story where it was.
Yeah.
They don't have to bring other characters back.
That would be something.
Because here's the thing, I think with the past 10 years, the first Avengers we're talking about, Endgame, Infinity Wars, all those amazing movies, like superhero-wise, I feel like the last few years, it's just dead. It's getting worse and worse and worse. Yeah. Remakes, prequels, sequels. I just think the bar was so fucking high, and they made so many good movies in that period of time.
Right.
That now it's like now they're trying to play catch up and get that glory back by doing prequels. Okay, well multiverse this. It doesn't work.
You want to do something crazy? Go rewatch Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, and then go watch Spider-Man 2 with Tom Holland. The Far From Home. The difference in quality of those movies is so insane. It's like someone said online, like the Tom Hollands are Disney Channel. It's just like Disney Channel.
They're little kid shows.
Goofy. Yeah, they're like little goofy teacher. Oh, I found it. On the bus.
Yeah.
Like,
it doesn't even. It looks like a TV show that's on cable. It doesn't even look.
All right, we got a tie game with 30 seconds. Hold on. Nick's got the ball. Hart.
What?
Hart 3-ball.
What score?
Up 3 now. Knicks. Josh Hart just hit a dagger 3.
Oh,
maybe a dagger.
Shit. Oh, actually, I could pull it up. What the fuck am I talking about?
Pull it up right now.
I am. Watch it.
Oubre forces him to give it up. Hart hands it to him. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Brunson, drive, swing.
Oh, I just saw the Hart jam behind.
He connects!
What are you on, Stream East?
Yep.
Next lead!
And right there, they didn't rotate to Josh Hart. There was a stunt off of DiVincenzo. They kind of froze him, but he stepped up with confidence as Brunson double-teamed, looked to swing it. Maxey stunned and able to line up, knock down a big-time shot. Wow.
Josh Hart sticks it from long range to put the Knicks in front by 3.
Wasn't there a rumor that Toby Maguire
16 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists. He has
Okay,
played 46 minutes tonight.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
As Amazing Spider-Man, the Oscar.
So you think about it, he missed those free throws
So when you
in Game 5 that would have given it a 2-possession game and essentially sealed the game for the Knicks. He's redeemed himself, he's played hard, he's done everything that he always does, and knocks down a big-time three-pointer.
Someone posted this thing and I did
Give
it.
the Knicks this 3-point push in here, but still, there's a lot of basketball left. Certainly the heroics, both teams have been fantastic, and they continue here in this fourth.
All right, flip it to the other side. You're Philadelphia, you're Nick Nurse. What's the thought process here?
What the heck?
Well, I think you might get an opportunity for Buddy Hield's checking back in, and so I think some high screen and roll action, maybe some misdirection. If you can get a quick open three, you want to try to shoot it, but you don't need
That could just been a fan-made thing.
a three in this situation. You want to try to score quickly, and if you do, you're going to have to pick up full court and try to maybe possibly get a steal with 24 seconds left.
Philly's out of time.
Right now, New York has gone small, so expect them to switch any kind of screening action from Philadelphia.
Sixers are out of timeouts. 24.4 on the clock. They get it in for Embiid. Anunoby there defensively. Embiid turns and scores. He did it quickly. We got a 1-point game. 18 seconds left. Brunson trying to get it up the floor. He does. DiVincenzo caught by Hart. Backs it out. DiVincenzo keep away. 11.1. Foul call.
Great hot potato action right there. Once again, the Villanova guys all touching the ball. And Josh Hart catching that pass from DiVincenzo under the basket. Did not go out of bounds. Great balance.
He has not shot a free throw tonight. Dante DiVincenzo. He's a 75% shooter this season.
Josh Hart right there. I thought he almost walked there in that situation, with a great presence of mind to find DiVincenzo.
And Joel Embiid has fouled out. So now you've got this other storyline.
75% shooter, just goes down.
The biggest stretch of time for the Philadelphia 76ers season, and Embiid will not be a part of it.
Well, look, I mean, first of all, New York can make these 2 free throws. It's still a 1-possession game. So it's important, first and foremost, Philadelphia has to block out here on the free throw line. And regardless of what happens here, you still have time to get a 2 or 3 if needed.
This guy in the comments is baddie. He's the baddie.
And if he makes this right here, if you're Tom Thibodeau,
that cameraman knew what he was doing
before Maxey or anyone can get into their shot.
Yeah, he selected some of the offense. He's like, we'll like this.
Hurt them in Game 5 in New York down the stretch.
Trying to make this a 3-point game. He hits both. 116, 113. 11 seconds on the clock. Get it in for Maxey. McBride's not going to let him shoot it. Foul call. 10.1. That's still a lot of time left.
Yeah, a lot of time left, and right now with this small lineup of Philadelphia, assuming Maxey makes these free throws, still a 1-point game, you're going to want to try to swarm. You don't need to foul right away, but trap, maybe anticipate a steal. And if you're New York, you just got to be strong with the basketball. Assume the contact is coming and play through it. And if you do, you advance. To the second round.
87% shooter, Tyrese Maxey.
What you mean?
We're both just fucking dialing the game, right?
The Knicks lead is 2.
In the last couple seconds. Betcha.
10.1 on the clock. Knicks have 1 timeout remaining.
Still one of the best
Second attempt for Maxey.
Joe, baby.
116 to 115.
Oh.
Get it in for Brunson. Brunson is fouled by Batum. 7.7 to play.
No,
smart right
dude,
there
they
by
don't do
Brunson.
anything
Be
like
strong
they
with
used
the
to do,
ball,
anything
just
at all.
kind of
They
waited a
don't-
little bit,
The
used
athletes
some
don't do what they
time.
used to do.
And
The movies
forced
don't do what they used to do.
Philadelphia there to foul him. Understood. It's only 10 seconds left. He could just stay there in the backcourt.
Holding his fucking hip.
Brunson is 10 of 14 tonight at the line.
That John was basically dead. That John was dead. Which is sad because I actually really love that genre a lot, especially
40
like those
points
trivia type movies. Yeah.
For Jalen Brunson. 117 to 115 Knicks.
Even those early suspense movies, like When a Stranger Calls, and like those types of movies that aren't.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
movie.
they aren't like slashers. They aren't, but like the mystery and the vagueness of the plot kind of gives you an eerie feeling, and they don't really have good movies like that anymore.
From the trailer, like what exactly.
Yeah, like what started the
When a
popular
Stranger Thongs.
When a Stranger
When a
Calls.
Stranger Calls.
When a Stranger Thongs.
That scene. I say calls. When she called with the scene that sticks with me.
When it says the calls from coming inside the house.
No, well, I think that's the most famous.
And he's sitting up in the rafters like a fucking rat.
What gets me is her just like finally like excuse me.
What the fuck?
Her at the very end where she's like had it and she's finally just like she's like screaming and crying just like what do you want?
He says your
And
blood
just-
all over me or something.
and he just pauses. Your blood all over me.
Yeah, just
That was the creepiest thing ever when I was 11 or whenever that came
yeah.
out.
I saw it in theaters when I was a little kid.
Remember me and you, your mom took us to see Crazies?
That's
The
right.
dragging the
That's
dragging
right.
the pitchfork?
Yeah, yeah.
Dragging the
That was a good
pitchfork?
movie. That was a real good movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't remember what was causing them to get all infected.
It was
The
that
water or something?
remember
Was the
there was
water?
a government aircraft that crashed in that like swamp area. Remember that? And those guys in the beginning, in the very beginning, it has those guys hunting, and the sheriff finds them. He's like, "Guys, it's not hunting season yet, whatever." And they're like, "All right," but they were in that same swamp. And what happened is it got in the water supply. That's what happened. And
Yeah.
then so they go
Right.
out, and then the plane crashes, and then those guys that were hunting, or like the same guys that cuts to later, they're obviously all fucked up, and then they're hunting other people, just killing everybody.
Right.
And so that's how that all fucking started.
Good movie. Hey James,
Hey, James.
how you doing, man?
But yeah, that was a good movie, underrated movie. They don't,
Very underrated.
dude.
They don't make them like
Dude,
that.
and it's I was just thinking
Where's the
about this the other day, dude. And maybe I can give away some of it to the nostalgia part of my life, and maybe the nostalgia part wants all the movies to be better. But after realize it's not just my imagination or nostalgia, because even look at comedies. Look at the 5-year stretch in the early 2000s runs of comedies. 40-Year-Old Virgin, Wedding Crashers,
2000s.
Step Brothers. I'm saying all of those comedies.
Knocked up.
Knocked up. And even the rom-coms, The Breakup, Vince Vaughn's amazing run.
Forgetting
It's just-
Sarah Marshall.
And yeah, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. And then even
Strings
even the
Attached,
kids
Friends
version.
with Benefits.
Yeah, even the PG ones, Fred Claus, like look at all these great, they're just great movies. And
Wild Hogs.
Wild Hogs, and in my opinion, Vince Vaughn had comedies in his fucking palm for a while, and Owen Wilson and Wedding Crashers was probably one of the best comedies I've ever fucking seen to this day.
You know what's funny? I don't know if I've ever seen Wedding Crashers. I'm not sure I have. I'm not sure. Trist isn't sure he's seen it. I know.
Dude,
I know.
okay, Wedding
might have
Crashers,
to add
in
it
my
to the-
opinion, is probably, if it's very close, but it's probably one of the best comedies ever made. It's so good. And Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson in that is a genius pair. It's almost like a Chris Farley and David Spade. It's unbelievably amazing.
I hadn't seen Knocked Up until like a couple years ago. and I would say it's the funniest
I
movie
don't
ever.
really. I saw it one time. I don't really remember all of it,
Oh,
but I watched like once.
I mean that's we're kind of flipped on that in Wedding Crashers. Like that's how you're looking at me when I said I hadn't seen Wedding Crashers.
Well, Wedding Crasher is
I
probably a little more
genuinely,
popular than Knocked Up, but
you think so? Was it?
I think so.
Look at box office. I think Knocked Up was a box office hit.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you're right. I don't know.
Let me chat GPT this. See, have it pull it for me real quick.
Let me chat GBT this. Let me know. Let me let everyone know that I'm using AI.
Knocked Up or Wedding Crashers.
Maybe it did do better in the box office, but I do know Wedding Crashers is like a household for everyone. Every single person
Oh
in the
yeah,
mom has seen Wedding Crashers,
yeah,
except
for
you.
sure. Yeah, well, I mean, no, I know how popular it was. Wedding Crashers grossed 300 million on a 40 million budget,
40 million?
and yeah. Oh, it didn't list Knocked Up, but it says Wedding Crasher takes the lead.
Yeah,
You're right.
makes sense.
I do need to watch that thing. Um,
Wait, the
'cause I
the
never
Bucks
saw
lost,
it.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
that's what I
out
thought.
like Trout.
Yeah, like Trout.
Um,
Oh, they wasn't even close. What the fuck?
no, well, they didn't have Giannis the whole series.
Yeah, there goes that. See you later.
Smell you later. But new Planet of the Apes movie coming out. I just
Do you
rewatched
see those
Rise.
dudes? They got people in costumes, in the ape costumes, riding horses. Dude, if I saw that randomly at night, I might fucking kill someone.
Try killing the apes.
Yeah.
Your arms right off.
Well, they're people in costumes, Trist. But I mean, that's quite a promotional idea, dude. You know what was weird? Do you remember? I actually saw the movie. It was all right. Remember that Smile movie? And then
I knew you were gonna say
their
that.
promotional thing was everyone
Smile.
just.
Oh, dude, it was creepy.
It definitely was weird in the movie, and that was like their promotional
That's
thing.
marketing genius.
It is.
Marketing genius. The people who had that figured out, Blair Witch Project, the original. Obviously, we were too young for this.
Yeah.
People thought it was a real story. People thought it was a true story, and kind of Paranormal Activity kind of copied some of that.
Yeah, they did.
But Blair Witch was so successful because 50% or more of the audience was like, oh, these people went missing. They finally found the tape and they're releasing it as a movie, like, and that's how messed up it is. Like, people thought it was a true found footage. And that was just marketing genius.
I do really love when a movie comes, when they're coming out and they have like some crazy cool creative like advertisement and marketing strategies. Like, I mean, for they would leave balloons all these places and shit. Like, they would do like from the sewers, and like, I love when they do shit like that. It's just cool as fuck. It's just super
Stranger
cool.
Things did it for a while.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah. Yeah, I love when they do shit like that. Like the Smile movie was alright. Like, it was kind of it was alright. But like the marketing was genius because they'd have him at like NBA games. And then the camera guy would go to him, and actually
just pop up out of nowhere.
That's better than having the trailer posted on a commercial. That's way better. That's way better, in my opinion. That's way better.
Yeah, I totally agree, and it mainly works for like horror movies and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, because it's like eerie and creepy and shit. But I mean,
yeah.
But the Planet of the Apes thing was fucking smart too. That was kind of cool. I mean, it was. I did not expect actual people to be in fucking costumes riding horses, but.
Were you a big fan of the first three, or I mean the rebooted three with James Franco's?
I liked the ones with James Franco. I did, and then after, I think War for the Planet of the Apes was after all this three, right? Or
that was the third one.
Yeah,
that was the third one.
Yeah,
it goes Rise, Dawn.
Yeah,
War.
And then this is one of those things where, because the first couple, like, I remember that first one I watched. Remember they're on the Golden Gate Bridge, and James Franco goes back after him, and I'm like, dude, this is fucking sick. But after the third, like the War of the Plagues, I watched that one. It was still good, but like now I feel like they're doing like a franchise thing, and the thing I don't.
Well, they took a long break.
Yeah, the thing I don't want to happen is I know it's apples and oranges here, but it's not really the exact same. But the way I see it is that it just kind of gets old quickly because of the fact, in my mind, it's just the way the story has gone, and it's just, okay, what are the apes? The apes are always facing extinction, they're always fighting somebody or whatever. I do love all the fighting. I do, especially what was that? It was that in War of the Planet of the Apes when they're throwing the smoke grenades and then they're shooting the fucking arrows over the thing. That shit was sick.
Yeah.
That shit was sick. But I just feel like it might turn into something a little too redundant. But this next one, I hope it's really good. I hope it's fucking amazing.
The CGI looks good.
Oh, it looks
That's
really
what this
good.
thing has
Yeah.
going for, and the CGI looks really good. But I agree, this one's like 300 years into the future, so we're not even like present.
Yeah,
anymore,
and now,
like modern
but
times.
but
We're
what?
like in the year 2300.
I mean,
Humans are
but
all but extinct.
I don't hate that because of the fact that original, remember with Mark Wahlberg, that's kind of what that timeline kind of reminds me of, is something like, remember what Mark Wahlberg?
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah,
He's not in Apes.
the original.
Oh, like Charlton Heston?
The old, very old Planet of the Apes.
That's Charlton Heston. I don't think that's Mark Wahlberg.
Isn't it?
Charlton Heston is for sure in those.
No, is
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's Mark Wahlberg.
Yes. It is Charlton Heston.
The one I'm talking about is definitely.
No, you're wrong.
I could have swore.
Charlton Heston.
2001, Planet of the Apes, Mark Wahlberg. Yeah.
Oh, well, those must have failed then.
Okay. Anyways, I'm saying that one was like a futuristic thing because humans had. There was a spaceship that was crashed, and at this point, this planet was completely taken over by apes and shit. And that's when I think of that timeline of 300 years into the future. That one was pretty good in my opinion, to be honest. I actually didn't hate that. I liked it with Marky Mark.
Right.
I liked it with Marky Mark. Pretty sure he was making out with one of the chick apes at one point. That was crazy. Yeah.
I've never seen this. It's Tim Burton? I
Yeah.
didn't realize that.
Dude, it's good. Have you ever watched it?
Mm-mm.
The story's really good, in my opinion.
Is it a total remake or is it like a sequel to the Charlton Heston?
I actually don't even know, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, this one. Okay. Weird. But the thing about War for the Planet of the Apes that was so damn good was them finally introducing another ape that can talk. And do you remember Bad Ape from the third one? Oh my god, it made it so funny.
Is that the one that
time he
comes out
spoke.
out of the ground from the dirt and it was like?
Yes,
Shh.
that's what he's looking at.
I remember
He puts the binoculars on backwards. Oh, why so small?
that. Yeah, I remember that.
His voice was so funny, and Caesar's all serious. Are there other apes like you? And he goes, dead, all dead. Not me.
Shit.
I run.
Yeah, because
I listen.
they were trying to do like a prison break, and then he was like, "Look, he looked looking at him from the fuck."
And he just like sinks back into the hole.
And then he like falls, I think, out of the hole or something like that. He falls back in or some shit. I don't fucking know.
I can't remember.
Oh
but-
my
Oh
god.
my god, when he's and but when they're first meeting him, or remember when he's got the beanie on? He's got the beanie.
Oh, I don't even remember that. Fuck.
It's just when they're first meeting him, and it's just, are there other apes like you? Dead. This home, and he points at where it says like Sierra Zoo or something. He goes, home. Are there other apes like you? Dead.
Fucking A.
All dead. Human. Kill ape. Oh no, go back there. Not safe. Dude, he made the third one like the favorite for me. But
Fucking A. Well, we're at an hour.
jeez, man. Imagine if you didn't
Ow.
act so lazy. All right, brother. Well, I'm glad we finally got an episode in.
Yeah, we're back. We're back on it. We're back on sketch.
We didn't even talk draft. We'll have to hit that next week.
I know we'll have to. Are we doing Thursday then? Is that our set one now? We just want to do Thursdays?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Thursdays it is. All right, next week then, draft.
All right, brother.
All right, later.
Peace.